So, as an artist, you're sort of required to be kind of your own PR, your public relations arm. If you're an independent artist, you naturally these days have to have a website, and it really helps to have representation and a social media presence, whether it's X, TikTok, or Instagram, or whatever, Facebook. Just somewhere where you're semi-regularly kind of keeping up with your peers. And all of these sort of obligations, it's a little bit like putting on a nice shirt to go out. If you put on a shirt that's full of holes and smells like you slept in it, people aren't gonna just pay you as much respect as the guy that has the really nice pressed shirt that's, looks good and smart and everything. Hygiene. It's sort of like digital hygiene. And, so much of that has atrophied for me because I get really grossed out by the self-promotion arm of Hollywood. Like the conversation that repulses me more than anything is the one that, and I'm talking about not like gabbing with pals of yours about projects that you're working on. I'm talking about that smarmy the ad campaign, like it's sort of like this show off tendency to show off in order to sound important, in order to sell yourself, in order to weasel your way into more work. And it just feels very disingenuous, and it feels very LA. It feels very LA. Growing up in Los Angeles, I think one of the byproducts is you can smell that a mile away, and you're just like, as soon as somebody's tone dips into that place, I turn off. And so when I'm 30 years into a career as a professional artist, I've seen the slow marching development of what now is a robust digital presence. And I just always kind of treat it like, grubby pajamas that you throw on at night. Like, I don't have a website. And I do get my work word of mouth. I don't have any representation. And that rebelliousness against something that I should obviously be conforming to, I do wear smelly shirts with holes in them sometimes out, the shirt I put on to pick up the pizza is a shirt I sleep in. I look like fucking... I just rolled out of bed. I think I even wore my slippers. Which is such a disrespect to the world at large, right? I mean, there's levels, but it's... I don't know. I just play... it feels like a classist strata game that I try to opt out of. Wow, I'm still recording. God, the last podcast was so much better than this. It's a different topic. Just go with it, Mish. Anyway, I kind of carry around a lot of guilt because I feel like I should be making bigger strides and more of an effort, and there's sort of this bare minimum requirement. Like I'm really proud of a lot of the work I've done over the 3 decades I've been working, and I should have held on to it. I should have collated it. I should have presented it in sort of a proud way. That's what you do in order to toot your own horn and present your credentials and engender confidence in your client. And so I've sort of let a series of really bad habits kind of inform a whole career, thinking that I would somehow be, I don't know, like, rewarded for not falling into the shallow trap of self-promotion. I mean, Jesus. It's, it was all for naught. It's a wasted gesture. This rebelliousness that I've identified with, and it needs to change. But my relationship with technology needs to change. That's what it is. I look at my phone, and I go, "What have you done for me, you piece of fucking shit?" The radioactivity coming off of you is causing me cancer, and you're hurting my eyesight. You're fucking up. You're giving me carpal tunnel. The machines have done nothing for me, and now they're threatening my job, and so I have this sort of kind of built-in resentment towards the machines, that are supposed to make our life better. They're sort of cloaked in this virtue that, it'll help communication. It's a tool to, and it does. A lot of wonderful things come out of this technology, but the pill you gotta swallow, the compromises to your, Apple's in a class action lawsuit right now around their watches. Their watches are fucking people's arms up. They're fucking up the nerves along. They're fucking up the skin. They're damaging. You have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and all these signals right next to your skin, next to your brain, next to your head, and they give you tumors. It's not healthy. So I am not jumping over backwards trying to spend more time on a machine. So for these podcasts, of course, stick a fucking mic in my ear and and just obsess and edit. And, as soon as I put my son to bed, I'm just going to be like, whoa, is this a good episode? Should I post it? What the fuck? I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I was always tripping out on programming language. It's like you got your C+, or your DOS, or your whatever language the computer speaks. Why didn't we get the computers to speak our language? Huh? Why didn't we do that at the beginning of this journey? We've been compromising ourselves and meeting this machine halfway. We've been bending over backwards for it, making sacrifices to it, and only now are we actually talking back and forth on the level with these machines, and we're doing what directors have always wanted to do. We're making prompts. This is the AI revolution. Can we adjust that? Can we? Your performance is a little melodramatic. Can we make an adjustment here? The lighting's a little. There's too much fill. Can we make that? These costume designs, can we alter them here? I mean, that's what you're doing as a director. You're just prompting people. And now you can have that intimate relationship with a machine. And cut so many people out. Just as these phones have cut so many people out. I used to talk on the phone all the time to people. And I was so proud of my little address book. It was just like threadbare and worn, and I would carry it around in my pocket, just in case I had to jot down a name or pull up a number. And I remembered everybody's first and last name. I usually remembered their phone number. And I could pull it up and call them and make plans, decisive plans, and you'd get a reputation of either being a flake or being trustworthy based on your plans. You make plans with people. I'm going to meet you here. This is pre-pager, so I'm going to meet you here. And God forbid you have to get on a payphone and cancel or something, but you showed up because there was no way to communicate that you were going to be late or that you were hung up in traffic or whatever. You just showed up. That's what you do. I'm a little late. Sorry. I fucking accident on the 405, whatever. But you think about the things that you've had to give up. The privacy, the intimacy, the identity, and it's a choice. I mean, we can, every single day, we can decide to, put the phone in the glove compartment and go have a robust, present, engaged afternoon. Or we can pull it out of our pocket and we can build a digital bubble around us. it's, I don't know. It's an ongoing conversation. It's interesting. It's given my life a lot of excitement. You know, I love that stop motion. That doing stop motion in the digital age is so pleasurable. You know, we have instant feedback with the toggling and live and movies, and it's all right there. What you see is what you get. There's no lab. There's no waiting for film. There's no anticipation. You know, did I fuck it up? Did I get my exposures right? You know, and so I'm not quite sure why I'm such a lazy, kind of rebellious person when it comes to promoting myself. I don't know. It's kind of how I deal with my addiction to it, you know? The platform feels like a drug. And I've spent a lot of, like, the last 10 years facing my addictions, and I feel like I have a digital addiction that at one point or another, you know, I have to confront just how I can peer into the black mirror and get lost. You know, the me that sits on the sidelines. You think about all religions, and every religion says, you know thyself. And you are always there waiting for you. You know? And the kingdom of God is within you. But maybe you're just too distracted to see it. Maybe we're too addicted. You know, maybe some of our best attributes are atrophying. You know, I can't even get to the west side without looking at a digital map these days. It's pathetic. I mean, maybe that's an exaggeration, but, you know, my sense of direction definitely has atrophied. You know, and how's that for an analogy? Your sense of direction has been hijacked by a technology that now considers itself an intelligence. That's some deep shit, yeah. Depressing, but deep.